At my sister's wedding, I was directed to a seat against the wall, far from the main tables reserved for real family. My mother barely looked at me, just muttered, "Don't make a scene." I walked to the gift table, found the envelope containing my $5,500 check, replaced it with a single dollar bill, locked eyes with her and said, "No worries. I'm done with this entirely." 10 minutes later, my sister was racing down the corridor, screaming my name, her wedding dress trailing behind her. But I, the only silver lining to my sister's wedding. I ensured it wouldn't be a joyful memory for her. Never. Weddings are remembered for laughter, toasts, the vows. My sister. She'll forever recall chasing me out of the venue, her voice echoing in desperation. And the kicker. She earned every bit of it. I almost didn't attend. I'd wrestled with the decision for weeks. Our bond had been fraying for years, always me giving, her taking. Yet I clung to a faint hope that maybe this day would be different. I wore a new suit, penned a heartfelt note in a card, and included a check for $5,500, 3 months' worth of my savings. No lie, it was a sacrifice. I told myself it was a gift, not a transaction. I didn't expect anything back. The venue was extravagant, all white and gold, like someone had searched opulent wedding and copied the first results. I entered, nodded at distant relatives I hadn't seen in ages, and approached the check-in desk. The attendant scanned the list, found my name, and gestured. "You're over there." I followed her point. The far wall. A line of bare metal chairs against the plaster, no table, no decor, no place cards. Just cold utilitarian seats like we were waiting for a bus. I asked her to check again. She did. "Sorry, front tables are for actual family." I stared, then glanced at the front. My parents' center stage. My cousins, aunts, even random neighbors, all laughing, glasses clinking, already deep into their champagne. And there was my sister, glowing like a queen. I approached my mom. She didn't seem surprised to see me. "Just don't cause trouble," she said, like I was a stray dog they begrudgingly let in. Then I caught my sister's gaze. She spotted me, turned to her maid of honor, whispered something, and they both laughed. That was enough. I stayed silent. I walked to the gift table, picked up the envelope with her name in elegant script, tore it open, and removed the check. A few guests nearby noticed but said nothing. I folded the check, tucked it into my pocket, and pulled a dollar bill from my wallet, slipped it into the envelope, sealed it, walked past my mother again. "Don't worry," I said. "I'm not part of this." I headed for the exit. No one stopped me, not yet. It wasn't until I reached the hallway that I heard the chaos. Doors swinging open. My name shouted like I was a lost kid. Then came my sister, barefoot, bouquet clutched, veil crooked, sprinting after me. "Alex, Alex, what's wrong with you? Stop!" I didn't stop. Not because I didn't hear, but because I'd heard enough from her for a lifetime. She caught up as I neared the side door. "What did you do?" she screamed. "Do you know what this day means to me?" I turned, calm as ever. "You'll never forget it," I said, "just not for the reasons you planned." She looked around, expecting backup, but we were alone in that hallway. And I wasn't here for her lecture or guilt. "You treated me like garbage," I said. "That seat by the wall, that's how you view me. Fine, but don't expect me to sit there and grin." She opened her mouth to argue, then saw the envelope in my hand. I held it up. "Check's gone, you've got $1. She lunged like she'd grab it. I stepped back. "Don't, this is just the start." Then I turned and walked out. I didn't answer my phone that night, ignored the messages. I drove, stopped at a diner, ordered coffee, and sat until the trembling stopped. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel proud. I felt empty, but something had shifted, permanently. It took 3 days for them to reach out. 3 days of silence after I left the wedding with the check and a dollar bill in its place, a statement they couldn't ignore. From what I heard later, the guests buzzed about it all night. My cousins confronted my parents at their table. Someone mid-toast asked my sister what she meant by actual family. Her in-laws looked uneasy for the rest of the evening. "Good," my mom texted first. "Let's not blow this out of proportion. You know how your sister is. We don't want to fight." Then my dad. "That was wrong, but let's talk. We can sort this out." The real gem was my sister. "Can we discuss this like grown-ups?" No apology, just that. Like it was a minor disagreement over who forgot the dessert. I ignored them all, then Nate texted. "Man, that was harsh, but honestly, they had it coming. I told them they went too far." That one hit me. I didn't reply, but I reread it a few times. Knowing someone in that room got it meant something. 2 days later, I got a formal summons, if you could call it that. A text from my dad. "Dinner at our place, just us. Me, your mom, your sister, no one else. Please show up." I wavered. Not because I wanted to mend things, but because I was curious how they'd justify shoving me aside like a stranger and still expect my generosity. So I went. The house hadn't changed. Same faded mailbox. Same cracked driveway. I rang the bell and my dad answered like it was just another day. Inside, the table was set. My mom had made lasagna, her attempt at reconciliation. My sister sat there, no makeup, hair tied back, glued to her phone. She didn't look up when I walked in. We sat. No one spoke at first. I ate quietly while my dad kept glancing at me, unsure how to begin. Finally, he said it. "We really needed that money, Alex." I kept eating. "It's not just the wedding," he continued. "They need it for their new place, deposits, bills. It's been a tough year." My mom chimed in. "You're doing fine. You've got a good job. They're just starting out." I looked at my sister. She was staring at her plate like she'd rather be anywhere else. Then she spoke. "You made a spectacle. It wasn't just petty, it was vicious. You embarrassed me." That made me chuckle. Not loud, just enough that she looked up, confused. "Vicious?" I said. "You stuck me by the wall. You told the staff I wasn't real family. You smirked when I was confused. You set the stage. I just played along." My dad sighed. "We don't want to argue. We just want to know if we can move forward." "There's a way forward," I said, "but not the one you expect." I stood, still calm, though I felt the heat in my throat. "You saw me as a wallet, nothing more. You didn't invite me to be part of the day. You invited me to fund it. And when I didn't follow your script, I'm the bad guy." My mom's eyes welled up. My sister looked like she might speak, but I cut her off. "I've helped you all more times than I can count. I gave her my old car, no charge. I paid for Dad's meds 2 years back, no questions asked. I never made a fuss. I thought that's what family does." I leaned in, making sure they heard. "But if I'm only useful when I'm paying, then maybe you're not my family either." I walked out. No shouting, no slamming doors, just quiet. They didn't follow. I didn't expect to hear from them again so soon, but less than a day later, my sister texted. "I want to meet, just us, please." I stared at it, unsure if I should even bother. I was exhausted. Not physically, but the kind of tired that comes when you realize a relationship was never what you thought. But I agreed, curious if she'd finally be truthful. With me, with herself. We met at a cafe halfway between our places. Neutral territory. She wore sunglasses despite the overcast sky. No wedding ring. She looked drained. I probably did too. She skipped pleasantries. "I need that money," she said. Not we, not him. But for a moment, I thought she'd open up about something real. But no, it was about their apartment deposit falling through. Her husband quit his job for something better that didn't pan out. They'd maxed out credit cards. I listened without interrupting. When she paused, I asked, "So the plan was to shame me in front of everyone and still cash my check?" She flinched. "It wasn't like that. You made jokes about me to your friends. You stuck me in the back. You said I wasn't real family. What was it like then?" She went quiet. Then softly, "You don't get it. Mom and Dad told me to let it slide. They said it was easier this way, that if we didn't involve you too much, the night would go smoothly. They didn't want drama." I laughed. "So their idea of no drama was treating me like an outsider?" She had no response. Just stared at her coffee. Then she added, "We thought you'd just sit there and hand over the money like always." There it was, the truth I'd waited for, and it hit like a brick. I'd always known that's how they saw me, but hearing it made it solid, real. "So the wall seat was intentional," I said. "I didn't choose it," she said quickly, "but I didn't change it either." We sat in silence. Finally, she asked, "Can we move past this?" I shook my head, not out of spite, but clarity. "You know what I've been asking myself all week, if that check means more to you than I do. If all the times I helped, your car, Dad's meds, your college stuff, meant nothing next to $5,500. She didn't answer. "I'm not fighting," I said. "I'm just done pretending." I stood to leave. She reached out, but I stepped back. "I don't hate you," I said, "but I don't trust you, and that's bigger." Then I left. Again, I drove home in silence, sat in my apartment, staring at the ceiling. Something was ending. And oddly, it felt right, like I'd finally quit a role I never wanted. But then things escalated. 3 days after the cafe, I came home from work to find my parents on the steps outside my building. No heads up, no text, just there like this was a casual visit, not the aftermath of their mess. My mom held a paper bag, cookies by the smell, and my dad had that half-calm, half-guilty look he gets when he knows they screwed up. "We were nearby," my mom said. "They live nearly 2 hours away. I didn't invite them in." I leaned against the doorframe and waited. They stumbled through small talk. My dad asked about my job. My mom asked if I still liked her old tea brand. I stayed silent, just waited. Finally, my mom said, "We're trying to fix this as a family." I glanced at the cookies, then her. She offered them like a peace gesture. I took the bag, set it on the ground, and waited. My dad spoke. "They're getting evicted," he said. Your sister and her husband, they didn't want to tell anyone, but they're broke, can't pay rent, the new place fell through, his job, it didn't work out, and she's been hiding it." I raised an eyebrow. "So she told you now?" My dad paused. "Not exactly. We heard from someone else. When we asked, she admitted it. She's been asking around for help. You weren't supposed to know yet." That surprised me. I thought they'd at least pretend she was honest. "We thought," my mom said carefully, "maybe you could help. Not the whole amount, just something. A loan, maybe. You'd get it back." I gave a sharp laugh. "A loan? Like when I paid your car insurance for 6 months and never got a thank you. Or Dad's meds when insurance didn't cover them. That kind of loan." My dad looked away. Then I said something unplanned. "Do you know what she told people at the wedding?" They looked confused. "She said I chose the wall seat. That I wanted a quiet spot, my choice. She told the coordinator, the cousins, everyone, and you bought it." My mom looked shocked. "She told us that too. We thought—" "You thought it was true because it was convenient," I said. "You wanted it to be true." Then something unexpected happened. My dad sank onto the step like his strength gave out. "She's been lying for months," he said. "About money, the apartment, everything." My mom stared at him, stunned. "What?" "She asked me for money in April. Said it was for groceries. Told me her husband's checks were late. I gave it to her, no questions. But now I'm hearing she told you it was for gas." I watched them fall apart in real time, and it was eerily calm. "She told guests I was loaded," I said. They turned to me. "Said I had an inheritance I was hoarding, that I could help but chose not to. Know how I found out. Nate texted me." My mom looked like she had nothing left to say. "She's still lying," I said. "Even now." They didn't argue. It was the most honest moment we'd had in years. I stepped inside, shut the door, no slam, no yelling. I locked it, went to the kitchen, and sat with the bag of cookies. I didn't open them. That night my phone lit up. 7 missed calls, 4 texts from my mom, a long message from my dad I didn't read, nothing from my sister, but Nate. He sent a screenshot. Group chat, my sister 2 hours earlier. "He's acting all high and mighty because he thinks he's above us now. He'll come back eventually, he always does." So yeah, I stopped wondering if they didn't see my worth. They saw it, they just didn't value it. I gave it a week, 7 days of silence. I didn't answer calls, didn't read texts, didn't touch the cookies still on my counter. I let everything settle, waiting to see what stood. The messages kept coming. My mom went from guilt to pleading, saying, "This isn't how families work, and we've always had each other's backs." Though she couldn't name one time that went my way. My dad played peacemaker, acting neutral to stay clean. And my sister never called, but she texted, short, cold. "If you're going to keep ghosting us, just say so. You got your moment, happy now. We're not the bad guys." She didn't know I was reading, didn't know Nate was forwarding her group chat messages, telling family I was going through something, calling it a breakdown, saying I never learned how to be part of a real family. She even told an aunt I made up the chair incident to play the victim. That almost made me smile, but what cut the final tie wasn't a text. It was a voicemail from her. Her tone started gentle, like she was the reasonable one. "If you keep blowing this up, people will see who you really are." That's what she said. A threat, not just no apology, but a warning that if I didn't fall in line, she'd turn people against me. It was never about regret. It was about control. I didn't respond. I blocked her number after listening one last time. Then my mom's, then my dad's. And then for the first time in years, I did something I hadn't since college. I booked a trip. No one knew, no posts online, no asking for advice. Just a destination far away, warm, with an ocean. No itinerary, no obligations, just me, a bag, a passport, and enough distance to finally breathe. Before I left, I sent one message, group text, 3 recipients. "Don't call, don't text, don't email, write, or show up. Don't send life updates or guilt trips. Don't reach out on holidays, my birthday, or when someone says I'm fine. Don't say this is temporary. Don't call me family. I'm not your safety net. I'm done. Forever." No one responded. Not right away, but I saw the message was read. I left 2 days later, packed light. It felt odd planning a trip without checking if someone needed me, without making room for anyone else. I hadn't done that in years. The hotel overlooked the sea, the kind of view that made you believe you could start fresh. I watched the sunrise from a chair with coffee in hand, my phone silent. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty. I didn't wonder if they were talking about me. I didn't care what came next, because I knew what came next. Nothing, and that was the best part. The first night, I kept it simple. No tour, no fancy meals, no bars. I walked the beach until my legs ached and sat on the sand, watching the waves move like they didn't owe anyone anything. That stayed with me, the quiet. So different from the constant demands, the subtle disappointments, the guilt scattered like crumbs. I didn't check my phone until the third morning, more habit than interest. 4 messages, one from my mom sent hours after my group text. "We'll always be your family, even if you don't think so." One from my dad. "Walk away if you must, but don't expect us to wait forever." And one from my sister. A photo. My niece, her daughter, who I'd sent gifts to every year without fail, even though I hadn't seen her in months. Under it, she wrote, "She misses you, but I guess you don't care." I didn't reply, I knew the tactic. Emotion, guilt, the pull of a bond they'd never nurtured. If I gave in, it'd go back to how it was. They'd take, I'd give. And the resentment would pile up until it broke me again. I closed the messages and blocked their numbers for good. That night, I ate dinner by the water, candlelight, fresh fish, a drink I couldn't name. And I thought about everything I'd given them. Money, time, effort. I remembered giving my sister my car when hers died, covering dad's meds when insurance failed, buying mom groceries when she was sick, always saying thanks like I was the one being helped. It was never about the money, not really. It was about being valued, being someone they wanted around, but they didn't want me. Not until I said no, that was the final piece. After dinner, I sat on the balcony watching waves crash on the rocks. A breeze rolled in, and I realized I wasn't waiting for someone to need something. I wasn't checking my phone. I wasn't worried I'd let anyone down. There was nothing to fix, and nothing to break. I had peace. I thought I'd feel alone. Maybe regret would creep in, but it didn't. I just felt free. Like I'd set down a weight I didn't know I was carrying, so I stayed longer, added a week to the trip, rented a scooter, found a small bookstore where no one knew me. I woke up when I wanted, ate when I felt like it, and slept better than I had in years. And for the first time, I wondered something new. What if this life, this calm, this solitude, wasn't the fallback? What if this was the start? It's been weeks since I returned. I didn't tell anyone I was back. No posts, no photos. I unpacked slowly, cooked my own food, kept the lights dim at night, and for the first time I didn't feel that old anxiety that came with being home. No calls came, no texts, just a silence that used to unsettle me but now felt deserved. I thought I'd miss them, not in a sappy way, but in that hollow way when a habit vanishes. But the longer the days went, the more I realized I didn't miss them. I missed the idea of them. The family I'd pretended I had. People talk about setting boundaries like it's a bold, instant act. For me, it was slow. It started with a chair, then an envelope, a voicemail, a text I ignored, and finally, peace I didn't need permission for. What I left behind wasn't just chaos, it was a cycle. One where I was always fixing, giving, absorbing. The one who showed up even when they didn't save me a seat. Now I keep my phone on silent for hours without guilt. I wake up and my first thought isn't, who needs me today? It's, what do I want today? That changed. It's quiet, no one claps for it, but it's real. Here's what sank in. Love isn't giving endlessly with nothing in return. Love isn't eating every slight just because you share a name. Love isn't how much hurt you can endure without cracking. And true family doesn't shove you to the back and expect front row devotion. I didn't walk away to punish them. I walked away because staying was killing me. And the life I'm building now on my terms, without their approval, without their demands, it's finally mine. And for once, that's enough. So, what are your thoughts on this story? Do you agree with what happened, or do you see it differently? Let us know your opinion in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming stories. See you in the next one.